Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a new TV from HiSense and see if this could be the new winner in the budget TV category for best 4K TV under $1,000. Hey everyone, so thanks for coming back to the channel today. Like I said, I got a TV in here for review from HiSense. HiSense is a up-and-coming Chinese manufacturer that's starting to make more of a push in the United States and North American market. And some of their TVs are very well priced. I previously checked out a different HiSense model. I'll put a link down in the description to that review. But I thought that was one of the best 4K TVs that you could get under $500. So after doing that review, and I purchased that TV myself, HiSense saw that review and wanted to reach out and send me their newest Quantum Dot H9G model. So that's what I'm going to be reviewing today. This is brand new 4K, Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, Quantum Dot, Backlight Array. We'll get into all that stuff. But this TV is currently selling for like $700 at Best Buy. And I'm hearing really good things about it, so we'll see what I think. But this could be a very worthy competitor to, I'd say, maybe like the Samsung QLEDs or the Vizio M series, in that, you know, this is going to only be $700 versus those being about $1,000. And then of course we have the OLED TVs, which run you $1,500 to $2,000. So this is in that lower range, but I think it could be a serious competitor and for a much better price point than those Samsung QLEDs, Vizio M series, P series, that type of TV. So here in this video, it's going to be a little jumbled up. You know how I like to do my equipment reviews. I like to get in and show you the screens and talk about the thing, but you won't see much of my face, which is probably a good thing for those of you who don't want to see my face, especially since I'm wearing a hat, and that apparently bugs some people. But anyway, you won't see much of my face. I'll be flipping the camera around talking about this TV and its tech specs and how I think it looks. I'll play some 4K content for you, 4K Blu-ray, 4K streaming, and do some 1080p content so you can see how the upscale is, and we'll go through all the different settings. So sit down, relax, and get ready for this review. All right, guys, so I have now flipped the camera around, and here's a look at your TV's home screen here on the HiSense H9G. This is very similar to the other HiSense model that I reviewed. It is actually exactly the same, and this is the Android OS, so it's an Android smart TV. I really do like this Android TV setup. It's pretty easy to go through. You have all your apps here at the top. You can scroll through and it gives you recommendations. And apparently I need to consent to something here. I don't like consenting to any of that stuff on my TVs. I don't believe in any of it. So you got Google Play, YouTube, Fandango, HBO Max. You can customize your home screen, and you know, it has some really nice applications that you can actually go ahead and get. These are some of the starting ones. Obviously the Google stuff. Pluto TV is a really nice one if you want some free content, Vudu, your YouTube TV, all that good stuff. And you can get any of these apps by just going to the Google Play Store on your TV, so that's a really cool option. One thing this TV has is it has a full array local dimming, and what that means is that there's basically a bunch of different backlights across this TV. There'll be an array of backlights, and I'll put a picture of this here so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. But you can basically have local dimming, so some of those backlights can turn off. They can all control their own brightness, and so you have brightness in different zones. And that's sort of what you can control here in the backlight settings. You can play with the levels, the automatic light sensor. You can play with how intense you want that local dimming to be. I typically like to keep it around medium. I thought low was a little bit lacking and high was a little too much. But what that backlight array, what that does is it basically tries to give you the best black levels you can. So if there's a part of the screen that's supposed to be, you know, pure black, then the backlight on that part of the screen can shut off and try to give you like an OLED experience. It's definitely not as good, but this is the same type of technology that the Vizio M series uses and had become very popular for as an alternative to OLED. Now, another interesting feature here that you can see when we get into the sounds is that this TV does come with Dolby Atmos. And, you know, what does that really mean? I mean, are you getting a true Dolby Atmos experience? No. Like, for a true Dolby Atmos experience, you need all the speakers, you need all that stuff. But what the TV does give you is its version of Dolby Atmos. And from what I have heard so far, and I'll play a little bit of some samples so you can listen to it. Obviously, it'll just be picked up on my microphone, but this TV is very loud. I did not have to turn it up, so it has pretty good speakers. So if you're looking for something that's maybe a living room TV, or you don't have a full surround sound setup, you can actually get away with the speakers on this and get decent enough sound quality to enjoy a movie but still have a well-balanced dialogue. So the TV itself has 4 HDMI inputs as well as a composite, so plenty of room for all your gaming systems, all of your Blu-ray players, 4K players, your receiver, anything you need to plug into this. And you can actually customize picture settings for different HDMI inputs. So if, say, you have a gaming system plugged into HDMI 2, you can put that on a game mode, which is going to give you a better refresh rate and make the input lag a little bit less, so it's faster, you get a better input lag. But if you go to HDMI 1 and say you're playing a Blu-ray, you definitely don't want that in game mode because it'll screw with your Blu-ray picture. And so you can customize HDMI 1 inputs to maybe be like a HDR theater mode for your 4K Blu-ray. So that's a nice little customization option that they do give you. Now I've turned the lights back on here for a second just to show you the TV and the setup. This is the TV stand. I am hanging off a little bit because I have the floor rising screen there behind it, but the ultimate plan is obviously to mount it here. It does have the mounting hardware, but I lost the screws, so couldn't mount it for this review. But you can see it has a fairly thin profile, not too bad considering you know, the budget sort of TV, and it has a really nice thin bezel. And then around the back here, as we go around, you can see it actually is a little bit better build quality wise. This is a little bit better plastic. I don't know, everything feels definitely a little bit better than the $300, $400 model that I previously reviewed from them. This has much better build quality, and I think the screen is a little bit thinner around the edges and ultimately looked a lot better, which we're going to dive into. One thing I will note before we get started with the video is make sure you go into picture and go to advanced settings. This is where your color temperature, your noise reduction, digital noise reduction, DNR, motion clearness, motion enhancement, all that stuff's in here, and that's how you get that soap opera effect. So I'm going to go through now and fix some of this stuff up, but you definitely want to touch on motion enhancement and motion clearness and shut those off if you're going to be watching movies. So here is some 4K HDR content from what has now become my new reference disc, the 4K transfer of Midsummer, the director's cut. And I chose this specifically because of the colors. It's a super bright movie, so it'll show off the HDR a little bit better, but it is extremely detailed, as detailed as my 4K projector, if not more. I'm not seeing a real huge difference there. Once I've cleaned up the settings and started to calibrate this a bit, that's when it really started to look much better. So definitely take your time. Don't just put this on out of the box and expect a good picture. You do need to calibrate and you know, adjust it to your liking, and that may not be based on the settings you find online or anything else. So just make sure that you do it to how you like it. But this is a pretty good picture in my opinion. We can get a little bit closer and you can start to see the detail is pretty fine. So as I get in closer, obviously you'll start to see things like start banding, and that's just because of the camera, but it's fairly detailed and colors look really nice. I have no complaints about it so far in terms of picture quality. It is a little bit dark in my opinion, so I do think I'm going to need to play with the HDR settings. I would like this to be a little bit brighter, but that's something I can work on. So now I have paused the image here, and because it's a darker scene, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on some of the black levels. I mean, you can see that the black levels get pretty black. There is a little bit of like a flashlighting effect up in the corner. It does get a little bit lighter towards the sides, but it's really not too bad. A lot of that I think is just glare right now because it's daytime. The blacks are pretty black. Now, are they OLED level black? Probably not, but they do a pretty good job with that local dimming. Now I'm showing a little bit here with sound. I'll shut up here in a second, but
ask what this is exactly?
It's pretty loud, and this is only at half volume.
Tea for the competition. And then you glass here. Mm-hmm. And then we drink it. Okay? Okay. Okay.
So now I don't want to show too much because I'll get a copyright strike for showing the midsummer stuff, but this was a very striking shot to me. I think the green really stands out against the blue sky. Colors are really nice on this TV. I'm very happy with the colors. I just am going to have to play with brightness. That's the only issue I'm having with the picture, is that I think it's a little too dark, and that's going to be some HDR adjustments because it was much brighter on my projector. This TV also does have Dolby Vision HDR, which I don't believe this midsummer release came with, but I have tried some Dolby Vision HDR content in the last couple of weeks while I've been playing with this, and that does make the HDR balance a little bit better when you have a true Dolby Vision HDR and that goes over to this Dolby Vision TV. I got a better HDR experience there, but overall, even the HDR10 like this release could use it's pretty good, but it could use a little tweaking. So that's just part of your calibration process, which I'm still dialing in, but that's something to note. So now we've got ourselves some 4K streaming content from YouTube. Looks pretty good here. I mean, this is an extreme example because this is one of those like landscape videos that is designed to look very good, almost like a store demo, but it is handling the 4K streaming pretty well. I don't see a whole lot of issues. It's definitely not as clear, and I am seeing just a little bit of flickering, which probably has something to do with the backlight. So that could be a concern, but some of this stuff looks awesome. I mean, this is a very clean picture, and it's only a 4K stream. So having had this TV now for 2 weeks and going through it and reviewing it, I think the most impressive part of it to me is actually the audio. This has some of the best audio from the TV speakers alone of any TV that I've reviewed or used. It does have Dolby Atmos built in, which is sort of like can it really have Dolby Atmos built in with TV speakers? Not really, but it uses that technology and it does sound great. It was super loud even at 50% volume, and dialogue popped like it felt like you had a center speaker. So that was really interesting. I mean, it doesn't give you a surround sound experience like my speakers would, but if you wanted to use this as a living room TV, that's a pretty damn good sound and probably the best of any TV I've heard. So that's a plus. The content here is pretty solid looking, but I don't see like a massive upgrade over the previous model that I reviewed, which was an H8F. This should be one better than that. This is the H9G, and maybe that's a testament to the H8F, but I'm seeing pretty similar picture quality. The HDR here is better if you dial it in correctly. I did have some issues with calibrating it, and I also had a few issues when I initially set up my Blu-ray player on HDMI 1. It would not recognize as a 4K source. Unplugged it, put it into HDMI 2, and then it recognized the 4K video. So I thought that was kind of odd. The player played the 4K disc and displayed it on the TV, but was displaying it at 1080p. So kind of a weird thing. Maybe it just needed to be reset, but you may notice that when you first go to plug yours in. And I am seeing some stuff. The thing about these full array backlit TVs is that you do see some flickering and you see some sort of inconsistencies that you don't get with an OLED TV. So this is going to be a similar issue on the M series, but does this compare to an OLED? No, it really can't, because you do get some really nice blacks and, you know, dark gray uniformity is great on this TV. Colors are good, but with that back array, if you have some really complex stuff happening on the screen, the back array has to work really hard. You can start to see some flickering. You may have to turn that on low or even turn it off if that starts to annoy you. That's something that I certainly have had an issue with this sort of TV before. So something to keep an eye on. But, you know, for $700, is this the best TV under $1,000? I think it's right up there neck and neck with a Vizio M series, but I'm not sure it beats it out. Now the TV does feature quantum dot technology, which is similar to Samsung's quantum dot, which they kind of turn into QLED. I have a quantum dot Samsung TV. Colors look about the same as they do on that Samsung as they do here, and that TV was much more money. This also has the Dolby Vision HDR and HDR10, and it has 1000 nits peak brightness, which is pretty good for HDR. The issue was I couldn't really get it there. Maybe it's the content I'm watching, maybe it needs to be calibrated more, but I couldn't get it to be as bright as I wanted it, even when I had it on vivid mode. So I think that's probably just a shortcoming of this being a $700 TV versus a $2,000 TV. But if that's the least of your worries, then that's not too bad. You know, for $700, is this a nice TV? Yes. Is it the best TV under $1,000? Probably not. I think Vizio still has the edge there, but this is damn close. So if you could get this for $600 or $550, which I'm sure it will be on sale for at some point, that's a good purchase. The other HiSense TVs are also pretty good purchases, but I wouldn't spend, you know, if you're strictly on a budget and you've got to go with $750 and you can't swing $1,000, this is not a bad option. I think that this is, the color and detail on this to me looks better than the Vizio M series, but I like the M series handling of HDR and black levels better than this. It seems like they have a better handle on that full array backlight technology. So there's shortcomings to each, but ultimately this is the cheaper option, and I think you'll be okay with this TV. But again, this TV doesn't compare to an OLED. It doesn't really compare to a Samsung QLED. That's a better TV. So for a budget TV, it's nice. I would recommend it at about the $500 or $600 price point. I think $700 is even a little bit too much. I know that this is on sale right now for at Best Buy for $650, so it'll probably get there soon. It's a nice TV, don't get me wrong. It's better build quality than the $400 H8F. It's better picture quality than that TV. It has much better sound and HDR handling. So it's an upgrade, but it's not going to get you to the OLED level. So if you're expecting an OLED TV for under $1,000, you got to spend the extra money. You are paying for that quality. But overall, HiSense H9G, very nice for that budget TV category. I'm happy with this. So thank you for watching this review, guys. I really appreciate it. You know that this isn't what I typically do, but I do love just checking out specifically how 4K Blu-ray content looks on different TVs and showing that off to you guys. So I was excited to get this HiSense in compared to the previous HiSense, because a lot of people ask about budget TVs, and I think HiSense is a good option. I also have an opportunity coming up to take on a Vizio OLED TV, their first OLED TV from Vizio. So I should be doing that video soon, and I do plan on doing more projector and TV reviews as I can reach out to companies and get them. It's a nice little break from the 4K reviewing and physical media stuff, and it's also very relevant to the channel. So hope you appreciate these videos. I'll leave a link to the HiSense H9G for Amazon and Best Buy if you use the Amazon link. That helps support my channel, so I appreciate that. And like I said, it's a nice TV. If you're stuck to $600, $700, you can't go wrong with this. It's going to show you a good 4K Blu-ray picture. But if you don't have as much of a budget, you can definitely do better. So ultimately, in that under $750, under $1,000 range, this is a top 1 or 2 TV. And HiSense, they have a good thing going in the budget category. So keep an eye on what they do in the future. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. Let me know if you guys plan on picking this up, or if you have one, what you think of it. I'll appreciate all the comments and try to respond. I really love hearing from you guys. But otherwise, have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe out there, and I'll be back with more videos before you know it.